about China becomes the first country to land on the far side of the moon. That's in their state media. That's what they announced. The headline written by Matthew S. Schwartz. You know what I mean? You can find it at NPR. You know what I mean? NPR.org. The article says China becomes first country to land on far side of the moon. State media announced. They become the first country to land on the far side of the moon. That's according to the state media. And then they got an image up. This photo provided by China National Space Administration via Xinhua News Agency is the first image of the moon's far side ever taken from the surface. A Chinese spacecraft on Thursday made the first ever landing on the far side of the moon, state media said. Alright, that's one giant leap for China. China State Television announced Thursday that China's Chang'e 4 lunar explorer, which launched in early December, became the first ever probe to soft land on the far side of the moon. The probe touched down at 10:26 Beijing time, the China Global Television Network said. All right? The landing, quote, lifted the mysterious veil from the far side and, quote, opened a new chapter in human lunar exploration. The broadcaster said, according to Reuters or Reuters, you know what I mean, however you pronounce it. A soft landing is where a lander touches down as gently as possible. It is preferable to a hard landing. Right? Then it's got the, I guess the tweet from Xinhua News. So if you're on Twitter, you can go look up China Xinhua News, you know what I mean, and see the images of the supposed far side of the moon. Alright. Then it says the six-wheeled rover landed in the southern section of the Von Karman crater. Von Karman crater. They named the crater, but ain't nobody been on that side. So the six-wheeled rover landed in the southern section of the Von Karman crater near the moon's south pole. Chinese media reported. Alright, China's Xinhua News published a photo. It says was taken by the probe, quote, on the never visible side of the moon. If it's never visible, how the fuck did you know that there was a crater there to name it the Von Karman crater? And who the hell is Von Karman? We'll get into that shit. You know what I mean? We'll get into that. So, China's lunar lander. It says China lunar lander. But no, let's back up. Quote, on the never visible side of the moon, right? And then it says, while photos of the normally hidden far side of the moon have been previously taken from space, they've taken photos of the never before seen side of the moon from space. This would be the first image ever captured from the surface. Alright? China's lunar lander is loaded with a variety of cameras and sensors, including ground-penetrating radar to peer beneath the lunar surface. Alright? Reported NPR's Joe Palca. Hope I'm not butchering the name. While the probe was en route. Quote, although Chang'e 4's mission is largely scientific, it is also a key bit of preparation for sending Chinese astronauts to the lunar surface, end quote, wrote Palca. Only 12 humans have ever set foot on the moon, and all of them were Americans. 12 have set foot on the moon, and all of them were Americans. 12. Many lunar missions were there. We're going to have to get down to it. Because there's 12 people running around here that have been to the moon, but I don't hear nothing about them. They ain't talking about nothing. And ain't been since. You know what I mean? And then you hear some of these scientists saying, you know what I mean, that they don't have the technology to get there again. The hell is that? All this technology I got laid out in front of me. These computers right here is processing information far more, you know what I mean, faster than the information that was being processed by the computers in the 60s, in 1969. Right. Anyway, let's continue. It says, the far side of the moon is actually, wait a minute, the far side of the moon is, quote, actually much more primitive than the near side, with, quote, really ancient crust that dates back to the very, very early solar system, said Bjorny Horgan, a planetary scientist at Purdue University, previously told NPR. So this was previously told to NPR. Previously, a scientist said the far side of the moon is actually much more primitive. What the fuck does that mean? What do you mean primitive? Far more primitive, right? Than the near side. With, quote, really ancient crust that date back to the very, very early solar system. So half of the shit is old as a motherfucker, you saying the other half is what? New? What are you talking about? What is it? What you laying on? You on the Death Star or something? Like this part right here is the old section and this is the new section? What the fuck is going on? Alright, but this is what Bjorny, B-R-I-O-R-N-Y, Horgan, H-O-R-G-A-N, Horgan, told a planetary scientist. He's a planetary scientist at Purdue. A planetary scientist that stays on the planet. You know what I'm saying? You're a planetary scientist that stays on the planet. Have you ever been to another planet? Have you? Anyway. So, to continue on, quote, there are rocks all over the far side that are over 4 billion years old, she said. We're really excited to see what those look like up close. I would imagine so. The far side is sometimes erroneously referred to as the dark side of the moon, the quote, dark side of the moon, even though it does get sunlight, right? And it says traveling to the far side of the moon presents certain technical challenges. Namely, it makes communication harder, right? Whereas earthbound scientists can communicate with the near side using direct radio. So now we're going into, waves and frequencies. You know what I mean? Because when you're talking about communication like that, yeah, how you carrying that out? You know what I mean? It's a lot that's left out, you know what I mean, of the story. You know what I mean? Like signals coming from way out inside. You know what I mean? These waves of frequencies. You know what I mean? So they talking about the far side is sometimes erroneously referred to as the dark side of the moon, even though it gets sunlight. Traveling to the far side of the moon presents certain technical challenges. Namely, it makes communication harder. Whereas earthbound scientists can communicate with the near side using direct radio communication, China first had to send a communications relay satellite to orbit above the far side of the moon. To orbit above the far side of the moon. So it's just on the far side of the moon, orbiting around. It don't orbit around to the light side. Like, you know what I mean? And how the fuck is that shit orbiting and then the moon itself is, you know? Anyway, questions to ask while you reading shit like this. So boom. Where Earthbound scientists alright. China first had to send a communication relay satellite to orbit above the far side of the moon, according to NASA. Right? That satellite is called the Cacao. Right? That communication satellite is called the Cacao. Or QQO. QQO. It's QUEQIAO. QQO. QQO. You know what I mean? That's funny. Launched in May and entered orbit around the moon 3 weeks later. Alright? QQO means Bridge of Magpies. Should have knew that because you heard the cow in it. The cow. You know what I mean? Black Bridge of Magpies. You remember magpies like Heckle and Jekyll? You know what I mean? Blackbirds. Bridge of the Blackbirds, referring to a Chinese folktale about magpies forming a bridge with their wings to allow Chi Nu, the seventh daughter of the goddess of heaven, to reach her husband, Nasaro. So, like, so this is why, you know what I mean, what you read is what you read, and what you observe is what you observe, depending on how you taking it in. Anyway, there's a correction here, January 2019. A previous version of this story and a photo caption said these are the first photos ever seen of the moon's normally hidden far side. Previous photos have been taken from space. These are the first images captured from the surface. Alright. And the funny thing is, you know what I mean, motherfuckers catch better images down here with a telescope and a good camera, you know what I mean, than all the images that's been shown to the public, you know what I mean, from motherfuckers that was right on the surface, so called. You know what I mean? You gotta ask about, you know what I mean, that darkness on the other side. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no stars, no nothing. Fuck out of here. Now, when I can look up, you know what I mean, and watch it go through these zodiac houses, so I know the stars is there. They can't be in front of it, can they? No. They would have to be, you know what I mean, like, behind it, right? From perspective. They would have to be behind it, right? So if you're on the dark side and you're shooting a picture, you know what I mean, across the plane to the horizon, you know what I mean, should be stars there. Something you're telling me there's just a blank section of space right there. Just questions to ask, you know what I mean, while reading that. And that's the end of that article, but you can go check that out on NPR. You know what I mean? China becomes first country to land on far side of the moon. State media announces. There's a lot of things going on with China. You know what I mean? They're ready to put up, you know what I mean, solar array and all kind of shit. They want to put artificial satellites up. They want to do the Death Star shit. You know what I mean? So, gotta check this stuff out. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you. Kevin, I mean, half of the Vortex Brothers, one half BWO, 1/3 Third Rail Underground. You know what I mean? But that ain't how I break down. You know what I mean? We can get into it though. In the meantime, peace.